In the fall of 2011, a group of colleagues and I, about 7 or 8 as I remember, gathered together in an office for a few days trying to answer the question, what is the best leadership curriculum possible? That is, if money were no object, if time were no object, what would be the best learning to help someone move from a competent contributor to an organizational leader? We designed a process in that time that would have taken with multi-day sessions, with a month in between these multi-day sessions. It was about a 2-year curricula. We then tried to sell it, although we got a few nibbles. No one ever bit. And I've always kept this in the back of my mind because each time I return to it, and it's served as the basis for some videos and talks, and a lot of my training that I do today is bits and pieces of it. But I never have actually come back and done the whole thing with anybody. It recently occurred to me, why don't you do that on video? Perfect medium. So therefore, dear viewer, welcome to the initiation of the Leadership Acceleration Project. This is a series of videos that is going to occur on a weekly basis. That's my commitment to you. And it will likely take us into the middle of 2025 to complete. It's a wonderful process. 3 major phases of leading self, leading a team, leading the enterprise, with skill development all along the way. That's what we're starting today with this video. So to begin, we're going to look at preparation. If you're going to embark on real leadership development, if you're going to be different a year and a half from now than you are now in substantive ways, if you're more effective, then there's ways you got to set yourself up. That's the focus of today. I'm so glad you've decided to embark with me on the Leadership Acceleration Project. But before we fully dive in, before you invest time, there are 4 elements that I think are essential that you need to understand and be able to buy into if you're going to see the results you hope to see. The first is the proper mindset. The second is a good goal. The third, field work. And the fourth, a learning partner. Let's talk about the proper mindset to begin. Leadership as a topic, particularly in today's business world. You know, you go through the airport, there's always books on leadership. Everybody's talking about leadership. Consequently, everyone thinks they know about leadership. We suffer from the Lake Wobegon syndrome. If you remember the old radio show where all the women were strong, all the men were good looking, and all the children were above average. And that's the way we tend to look at ourselves. When we think of ourselves as leaders, we say, I may not be the best, but I'm probably pretty good. And in fact, you may suck. I mean, you may be fine, you may be great, you may be somewhere in the middle. The challenge is you have what we used to know in karate. So one piece you may not know about me is way back in the day, I got a black belt in karate. But I made my way through, of course, from white belt all the way up over the course of several years. And there's green belt syndrome. Green belt's about the 2nd or 3rd belt in. And at this point, you have just enough skills to be inoculated, to think you're a real badass, which is just a way to actually have your ass handed to you on a platter because you think you know more than you do. And anyway, I think that's the challenge with talking about leadership today, is everyone steps into this, regardless of background, regardless of any study. thinking they already know the answers just because they see themselves as good, capable people. And while you are good and capable, and while in some ways you're brilliant, in other ways you are obtuse. In some ways you are strong. In other ways you're incapable and you don't even know it. So, a proper mindset, right? Rather than having greenbelt syndrome, rather than the Lake Wobegon approach, is to simply hold a basic humility, which says, I do have some learning from life that will help me in my leadership growth. I can build on it. And there is a lot I don't know. So I'm going to enter into this as a learner. That's the proper mindset. After your mindset, the second most important element or prerequisite for learning is to have a goal. And actually, I'm going to suggest to you that you have both a process goal and an outcome goal. We'll talk about the latter first. Outcome goals. What is the actual achievement for which leadership development will help you get there? In other words, once you become the leader that you hope to be, what will be different out there? My most successful clients are the ones that can in fact look and say, you know what, I want to achieve that next level within the business. I'm being considered, I'm a field leader right now. I would like to be considered for the VP position that opened up in corporate. Okay, that's one. In addition to an outcome goal, that is something that this will help you get. And it doesn't have to be a position. It could be improved relationships with my peers, right? It's something that happens in the external environment for which leadership development is an enabler, right? So, an outcome goal and a process goal. Process goal is the bits or pieces that you know offhand right now, even though awareness will grow over time. You know right now, gosh, I just have got to be better with empathy. I need to be better resolving conflict. I don't see my people get up and go. How do I motivate them? So having one or more process goals that say, I really want to learn and grow and develop in particular ways through this is also important and essential. One piece, let's just simply say this. If you enter in with no goal, you're not likely to look at these beyond the first one or ones that occasionally come across. So you won't have any staying power. So no goal or a general goal of I just want to be a better leader. Again, there's no motivating power for that. You need a goal. The third element, which you need to know on the front end and reconcile yourself to, buy into, is the importance of field work. Field work is a fancy or a more palatable term for homework. That is what you do after you watch the video to put these into practice. Leadership development is truly an experiential process. Through videos, through books you read, and so forth, you'll be exposed to certain new concepts, new ways of going about what you do. But you'll only actually learn when you go out and do your best to implement what has been suggested. Again, my most successful coaching clients are those who don't think about the field work that they get. They actually just say, yes, I'll do that, and then they do their best. They try to implement that new practice or process or communication tip into their actual day-to-day work, and then they reflect on it, they journal it, and then they're prepared to discuss it.
field work is an essential part of leadership development. Fourthly, and ideally, you'll want to have a learning partner to walk through this process with you. Yes, you will learn from watching and attending. You'll be more focused as you work towards a particular goal within a particular context. As you do the field work, things will bubble up for you. And having the additional opportunity to sit and talk with someone on a fairly regular basis who is also attempting to grow and develop as a leader will give you a level of accountability for some of the things that you say, hey, I'm going to do this. That will also give you insight because you're going to see things a particular way because of who you are, right? Your blind spots are still your blind spots, and the only way to shine light on a blind spot is to really get feedback from someone else. So hopefully this is someone who is trusted and who you can walk along this path together. I will say, if you don't have a learning partner and you say, I really can't think of anybody who would even be interested, or I'm just not in a place where I can, okay. You can take this as the one optional element of the four. Highly encouraged, if you can, identify a learning partner. If you can't, okay. Then you'll have to put a little bit more work in that reflection piece in item number 3. So, those are the 4 elements that you need to understand in order to prepare to engage with the Leadership Acceleration Project. So where do we end? We end, as you might expect, with field work. The first bit of field work for you is to identify the goal that will move you forward. What is that leadership goal? What is the change you hope to create in your work environment? If all goes as you hope, what will be different in your life or work? Where do you see the greatest need to improve and why? Anything else motivating you to improve your game? Reflect on those, but come back with a clear goal. Here's what I want to change out there. Here's what I hope to develop within me. Identify your goal. Number 2, you need to identify what app or that you're going to use in order to journal, if you like to do it electronically. If you like to do it the old-fashioned way with pencil and pen and paper, then go get yourself a really nice journal as part of this so that you can keep it. So that's number 2. Number 3, identify a learning partner, someone who will walk with you through this process that you can share notes with, that you can get insight from them as they get insight from you. Lastly, I would like you to comment below this video with a simple I'm in or something like that. Now, this provides actually accountability for you. There's something about just saying it to the world out there where somebody can see it that helps us do what we said we were going to do. The other part is it's motivating for me because what I really love and enjoy in all of this is people growing, learning, and becoming more effective. So, thanks for watching. Welcome to the Leadership Acceleration Project.